Own the Road with Kelly and Bob, the USA 250 Tour, celebrating America. Coming up on this episode.
It's gorgeous, and I think it's a testament to the American spirit that during a really, really tough time, they didn't come out here and just pour a concrete dam. The attention to detail in the facility is mind-blowing.
We, the people of the United States of America.
Hey there, thanks for coming along on this episode of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. I'm Bob Phillips.
And I'm Kelly Phillips. If you're a regular listener to this program, well, welcome back. If you're joining us for the first time, we hope you'll give it a shot because you might find something you like here.
Yeah, what we do is just about as simple as it sounds. We travel all over the United States of America in search of stories, mostly about good people doing good things to make our world a better place. So all of our stories are really about people.
But sometimes our travels take us to places that at first sound maybe a little bit cold or sterile, like they will be more of an industrial nature. But that's before we get to the story behind the story.
And that is always about the people.
So back in the early 1900s, there was nothing, right? So the river flowed freely from the Colorado Rockies all the way down through Southern California into the Sea of Cortez. The river was considered like a natural menace. It would go through periods of drought, flooding, and it was just basically uncontrolled. So in 1905, there was a flood in Southern California, and levees broke, and that created the Salton Sea. It was around that time that the Bureau of Reclamation took over control of the river. So it became necessary, though, to try and control this river. 1921, that's when Herbert Hoover proposed to construct the dam. And the benefits of having the Colorado River Dam was that they could have water flow on the system year-round.
That's Brad Cochran, a man with a big job at an enormous location.
Yep, Brad is the facility manager here at Hoover Dam, the project that created the largest man-made lake in our country, Lake Mead. And
it did a lot more than that. The Hoover Dam controlled the previously out-of-control Colorado River because
it would dry up. It'd be flowing good, and then it would dry up. Flowing good and dry up.
Of course, you're in the middle of the desert there.
Correct. I mean, if you've been to Vegas, Vegas is pretty much in the middle of the desert. It's a very arid, dry area. And so having that water available on the river year-round made it so agriculture was possible year-round, which was good for farmers instead of only being able to grow during certain times of the year.
And that, of course, meant building a structure unlike any that had ever been built before.
And to do that, they were going to need a lot of people.
How and where did they get the workers?
They came from everywhere. People heard about it happening, and they started going west. They actually arrived here before construction started, and they camped up around where the lake goes around. They set up like an encampment out there in Tent City. They called it Rag Town. People just started showing up, started camping, and waited for them to start hiring. And the American spirit of wanting to work, and be a part of such an amazing project drew people from all around.
The Hoover Dam wasn't just for flood control, it was a multi-purpose dam. And it became a model or blueprint for later projects around the world. Even when I look at the photographs that we have in our collections to see the guy just hanging off the canyon wall, it's mind-blowing, the human capability. You're reminded of what a group of people can do together.
When they put their mind to
When they put their mind to it, and that they can do something bigger than themselves.
That's Jennifer Smith, the archivist at a hotel in nearby Boulder City, a town that was founded because of the massive arrival of workers that came here to build the Hoover Dam.
Did you catch that? The archivist at the Boulder City Hotel. And that job is necessary because this hotel isn't just a place to stay. It's a place built in part to honor those that built this dam.
This is a working hotel. We got 21 rooms. On the second floor, the first floor, we have our art guild, our museum, our brand new research center that we just opened in October.
Where did all of the artifacts and manuscripts and all of those things, where did they come from?
People from all over the country.
Inside the Boulder City Hotel, you will find a serious collection of things related to those who built the dam.
And that collection tells the story of a group of mostly ordinary people who came here to do something to change the world.
But we house manuscript collections. Right now we have 180 manuscripts processed, photographs, over 13,000 photographs. We have subject files, biography files, 3D artifacts. It's important to know the human stories. It's important to know about the families, the workers, the sacrifices.
There's all these photographs of these people everywhere now, at the visitor center and everywhere. And I look at their faces and I want to know their stories. Where'd you come from?
No, exactly. It's funny you say that because we actually have carved out map of the United States in our museum, and it tells you the number of people that came from each state and the materials that were used from each state. You just see the workers, their families, the sacrifices that they made to come here.
Even during construction, people from all over were coming out to see what was happening here. They were coming in on all the roads up here, and they put a lookout so people could come see it. And then they actually started charging an entry fee to kind of deter looky-loos, and people paid. People paid to come see the place being built. And it continues today. People come from all over, but they want to see the Hoover Dam. They want to see what it looks like.
What do you think this project says about American ingenuity and human achievement? Does it make a statement?
Absolutely. I mean, it shows that even in challenging times, Americans came together. And I think Americans always come together during challenging times. But I try to put myself in their shoes. There was no air conditioning. It was a hard time. And people came together from all over. Didn't matter where they came from. Came together and they created something beautiful. You look at construction projects from the time period in the 30s, primarily like Los Angeles, the Art Deco. I mean, there was just so much pride taken in construction at that time. We were the first large-scale dam to be built. And, dams that have come after this have been built on lessons learned here, and say that that's changed the world in regards to how, hydropower dams were constructed on this scale. I like to think that the American spirit, even today, with, different attitudes, that if we were put back in the trenches, we'd all come together and build something just as good.
Okay, couple of points to be made here. First, the Hoover Dam is indeed a monumental achievement, especially for the time when it was built. But even by today's standards, it's still a monumental achievement. And second, yes, it is worth a trip to see it. The little museum at the dam site is really great because it tells the story of not just how it was done, but of the people who did it.
And we do recommend staying at the Boulder City Hotel.
Oh, yes, we do.
And touring their museum there. Between the hotel and the dam, you will get the full picture of this monumental achievement.
Let's continue the conversation with Hoover Dam manager Brad Cochran and with Boulder City Hotel archivist Jennifer Smith.
Were there some obstacles?
A lot of obstacles, primarily political. Getting it through Congress, a large federal infrastructure project, a lot of money. I think it was equivalent to about $1 billion to raise money to build a dam. You had the political money obstacles, and then you also had the construction obstacles. Nothing as large had ever been built. It is a massive structure. There was a lot of work involved with diverting the river around the site. So they had to build these huge diversion tunnels to reroute the river so it wasn't flowing in through the middle of the construction site. So you think 50-foot diversion tunnels were built through the canyon wall to get that river around. But then you have to keep in mind that when this was done, countries in the middle of the Depression, work was scarce, and then building this dam in the middle of the desert, huge obstacles.
I would imagine that this was some pretty steady work at a time when there was no other work.
Yeah, I mean, the construction started on this project in 1931, and it went full steam for 5 years. It was originally supposed to take 7 years. They waited 2 years in advance. The pace of work at this site was very, very quick. Herbert Hoover suggesting that we build Hoover Dam in 1921. Construction starts in 1931.
It's mind-boggling of exactly how this was accomplished.
It's an immense amount of water that we make. So Lake Mead is the largest man-made lake in the country. The 1 acre foot is about 329,000 gallons. We can read 27 million of those. It's a lot of water. So that impounds the dam, and then you have a high drop from where the lake level is down to where the generators are. So we take water through these penstocks, those span-looking towers on the lakeside, or sit on top of large 30-foot diameter pipes that bring water from the lake through those big pipes through the canyon walls, and then drop the water down through our generators. From there, it's a pretty simple concept. Water flows through the turbine, makes it spins your generator, 60 hertz power, and we send that out to the American people.
You've controlled the river and created jobs and accomplished this incredible wonder of the world. It created electricity, all with this one project.
And you basically put our mission in correct order. The primary purpose of the dam is to deliver water, is to control the flow of water on the river and deliver it for agriculture, the needs of California and Arizona and our off-takers. And power is actually lowest on the list.
But would the city of Las Vegas, for instance, be what it is today?
No, I mean, I don't know the exact percentages, but Las Vegas gets the majority of its water from Lake Mead. So without Lake Mead here, they would just have had the river, which is not a reliable source of water for a city that large. So I would say that they should probably still be here because it started out as like as a trading post, just a small stop, in the middle of the desert. But it would definitely not be as large and industrious as it is now. Even as a child, I remember knowing about the Hoover Dam and visiting here when I was very young. That's a monumental memory and from my childhood.
You've kind of come full circle then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell us about this town. How did it come to be?
So they're surveying the land of where to have workers and families while they're building the dam and build Boulder City.
Did this town just explode overnight with all these workers coming in here?
Yes, it eventually did, because there was Ragtown, and that's where most of the people were.
Boulder City is pretty cool. I mean, it has a lot of good history in it. Interesting fact: a lot of the lumber that came out of Hoover Dam was used to build Boulder City.
They call them dingbat homes because they were built so quickly
to house those workers.
From what I've read, these workers would come from work and not realizing which one was their home, and they would walk into the wrong home.
Because they all looked kind of alike.
Yeah.
Were you always aware of the Hoover Dam and what it has done for our country?
I was aware of it, but I wasn't knowledgeable of its background. My parents brought us to visit the Hoover Dam, especially when we had outside family come visit us.
What was it about Hoover Dam that your parents wanted your visitors and even you as kids to know?
The fact that so many people collectively got together and built something bigger than themselves.
Why did they decide they needed a dam?
So before the dam, the Colorado River dictated life in the Southwest. Although it was beautiful, it was very unstable. So we're talking about the unpredictable river, drought cycles, devastating floods. One place in particular, the Imperial Valley, was affected by uncontrolled flooding, and it would just wipe out farms and infrastructure. And one major flood accidentally created the Salton Sea. So the Hoover Dam helped transform that instability to stability.
It's changed life, has it not?
Yes.
How so?
So after the dam, people had the ability to shape their future. They were able to have reliable water storage, hydroelectric power, population growth, infrastructure, you name it, agriculture, development.
These people work 7 days a week. long hours.
Yeah, I read they were off 2 days a
a
year.
year. Are you lucky enough that there was anybody that actually kept something like a journal or a diary or anything?
Oh yes, I know we have a set of some diaries. The one that we really treasure though is a funeral record from 1936.
Do we have any idea how many workers were lost?
Believe a little over 100.
These people were being paid up to $4 a day. Now that sounds like absolute
Pennies.
but the average worker was paid less than $1 a day elsewhere in the United States.
It was a steady income, but they had the housing and food, just that stability during such an uncertain time in American history. What I've learned is that people truly want the stories of the workers to be acknowledged and be honored, and to not forget that they mattered, that no matter where around the country they came from, they contributed to such a grand thing during that time of the Great Depression. It's just moving to see what people can do together, push forward despite the challenges. Here we're at our ground level archives, and right now this is brand new. This houses our subject and biography files. So from A to Z, we have everything from Boulder City, Hoover Dam. And then if you come over here, this is our support library. And this is where we house the 180 manuscript collections. So like this box in particular, this is Alton Garrett, very prominent figure here in Boulder City. There's 5 boxes, but his bigger collection is at the library basement, and that's, I believe, 188. We have cemetery records. We have our historical association records. Anything you can think of, we got the correspondence, photos, scrapbooks. We got it. This is our map of all the states and how many people workers came from each of the state, and the materials that were used from each state, and that came to build the Hoover Dam. So as you can see, their connections from each state, like each state is represented on the map. People think that it's just a museum, and some people think it's just a hotel, and they wouldn't. Both. Yeah, and we have both.
We hear lots of people say the Hoover Dam is an engineering miracle.
It's more than that.
It's mind-blowing. Why is this dam so highly regarded? Can you explain it in layman terms?
It's gorgeous. And I think it's a testament to the American spirit that during a really, really tough time, they didn't come out here and just pour a concrete dam. The attention to detail in the facility is mind-blowing. Everything, every curve, every corner, every door, there was an enormous amount of thought put into making it a beautiful place that Americans can come to see. I mean, if you come and do a tour here, they take you all the way down through, and you can see everything done. The railings, the terrazzo flooring. It could have been just an industrial project. They could have built a square building and put a dam, and I'm sure you've seen dams before. It doesn't have to look like this, but they wanted it to look like this. It's almost like, a love letter to the American people.
Standing at the edge of the Black Canyon, you realize that the Hoover Dam is more than just concrete. It is the heartbeat of the American Southwest. If you haven't been there, I truly can't explain the sheer scale and the power of it. I mean, it's something you simply have to see in person. Now, we're still going strong on our USA 250 tour. We're traveling all 50 states this year. And if you've missed a stop, you can listen to our previous episodes or just head over to our YouTube page and see the journey in action. Be sure and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube page. You don't want to miss a thing. Be sure and listen wherever you get your podcast, or you can simply download that free Odyssey app. Listen anytime, anywhere.